Hey folks, it's your main man Ian. We're here with River and we're here with my own dog Amaniti, this Rottweiler. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what I've done with my own dog so that she has zero anxiety about me being gone. She never barks when I'm gone. She never destroys anything. I could leave for 24 hours and my dog would literally just hang out wherever I left her. As long as it was enclosed, I could literally leave her on my property for an entire day. If there was food, she wouldn't bark. She would have no behaviors other than laying down and resting associated with having me come back. In fact, many times I come home, I drive into the property, Emma's just laying there asleep. And that's good because I have another dog that's older and needs extra help. And so it gives me time to focus on my older dog. So whether or not you have an older dog or whether or not you just don't want that anxiety yourself of like, oh my God, I have to get back, I have to go home, this video is for you. Now, keep in mind, a lot of anxiety that we're seeing these days is really because the dog is confused. Hey, why are these behaviors that usually work, why are they not working? I usually cry, I usually whine, I get excited, and then somebody gives me something. Why is that not happening right now? And so I'm going to talk about some of the things I did with my Amaniti that really led us to success, okay? So let me turn this thing around. One of the first things I did is I really only pet Emma when she's calm. Like, unless we're going to play with a toy, I don't get Emma excited. And so from the very beginning, Emma used to be a dog that would jump up, put her mouth on you, and lick people excessively. And because I had a dog that, was not happy for me to be gone, I was clear. I don't want this time around. I was clear. Emma, I don't want you getting excited when I come home and when I greet you, because that might create this anticipation. Oh my God, he's going to come home and then this amazing thing's going to happen. We're going to get all excited. And so I was pretty clear. Hey, unless I pull out a toy, we're not really getting excited, or unless you're playing with a dog. But you in the house, there's no playing in the house. There's no playing in the yard unless I pull out a toy or unless we have another dog here and it's appropriate to play with you. It's that time. And so I structured that very highly, by being like, hey, we're ready to play, or no, we're not going to play. We're done. And I spent a lot of time actually not petting Emma because I could tell she could not control herself. And when I was petting her and getting her excited, she didn't have the ability to think. So I'd be petting her, she'd start licking. I'd be telling her stop licking. She couldn't comprehend it. And so I had to create a relationship with her where it was clear, hey, I'd like you calm. So rule number one, when you have a dog that is having these behaviors when you're gone, or a dog you don't want to have these behaviors, is you get what you pet. If you pet a calm dog, you're going to have a calm dog. If you pet a dog that's being pushy, you're going to have a dog that's pushy. If you pet a dog that's just really chill and mellow, that's what's going to happen, folks. The dog will understand, hey, they like it when I'm mellow. But if you have that dog that's like, hey, pet me, 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 and then one day you're not there and they go, hey, I want to be pet. Yeah, they might freak out because they go, you know what? I usually get pet whenever I want to get pet. The second thing I did, folks, is I did an insane amount of place work. What's place work? That's where you have the dog learn to go to their bed, and they stay there for a really long period of time. So Emma, we started just staying here for a few minutes. Eventually we got to the point where Emma would stay there for hours in her bed. We did this inside of the house, we did this outside of the house, and we did this in public too. So she understood very quickly, hey, you know what he loves? He loves if I just go lay down on a bed and I relax. No. Go to your bed. And for a lot of reasons, I don't use much food. Once I've taught the dog to go to their bed, I phase the food out. And so with Emma, I got it clear. Hey, when you're in your bed and you're chilling, I'm not going to throw the ball for you. I'm not going to reward you with food. You're just relaxing. You're just chilling out. And I did that so that Emma would have mastered the basic skill of, hey, when someone is here, I know how to calm down. I know how to relax. And it's good to relax around my owner. It's good to associate that with them. And then I'd just be milling about the property doing stuff, go inside for a minute, come back out. Emma would stay in her bed. So she learned, hey, Eric's not leaving for a long period of time. He's going to be here. I don't have to worry. And so you're going to want to make sure you practice having the dog staying put in a crate on a bed when you're there, when you're just going to get a cup of coffee at the kitchen, or you're just going to go to the bathroom, or you're just going to walk outside. Or even you're just sitting there next to the dog already, but you're clear, hey, you're going to stay in your bed, and you're actually going to associate this with being near me and being in a good situation. Like, the time to introduce the crate is when the dog is sleeping next to you in the bedroom and you're all asleep. That's probably ideal. Or the time to introduce the placemat in the crate is like when you're on your computer working or watching TV, you put the dog in the crate, you put them in their bed, and they're associating that with being calm around you. Okay, that brings me to the third thing I did, which was crate training. I extensively crate trained Emma from the very beginning. I began with putting her in the crate for a little bit, and I made it very clear because I was there when she very first started making sounds in the crate, and she had her potty time, she'd had water, she had food. I was clear, don't do that. And so I created consequences for her very early on when I first saw that behavior, and was like, just don't do it. Now, Emma still will cry if she has to go to the bathroom. And like not that long ago, she was in her bedroom. She's crying in the middle of the night. I said, oh, Emma's got a potty. And so when we make it clear to the dog very early on, hey, man, don't even start crying. Then if the dog cries, we know something's wrong. What we don't want is the boy who cried wolf, where the dog's crying all the time and we don't know when anything's wrong. So just to go over what we went over so far, I've pet Emma for being very calm. Okay, I really only get her excited when we're going to play with a toy, when she's playing with dogs. And I did the same thing with other people. Hey, can you not get her all excited? Can you not pet her like that? It's not really good for her right now. We're working on having her be calm. And so that meant a lot of times we weren't going out in public in places where people were going to get her all revved up because she started thinking, oh, that's what everybody wants. Okay. The second thing I did, an insane amount of place work, having the dog stay in their bed while I'm around, while everything's hunky-dory, setting up a leash like this where the dog's tied back, and just having the dog here tied up while I'm on the property. Okay. The third thing is the crate. I started getting the dog in the crate. And with the crate, I made it very clear in the beginning, hey, you go in calmly, you come out calmly, I'm right here, I'm not going anywhere. And hey, there's no need to cry. And so while the dog was around me, I put a Kong in there. While the dog was around me, I put food in there. While the dog was around me, I put a cozy bed in there. And I also, yes, provided consequences to say, hey, please don't make those sounds. Okay? So these three things are really important to think about if you're going to try to set your dog up for success and avoid, some of the behaviors that we see here. Okay. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is going to get a little bit more into the weeds. And so if you lose it in this part of the video, don't worry about it. But one thing I want to talk about is just overall, just having what it means to have a balanced relationship with your dog. Like, when you're petting your dog, like, what exactly are you saying to them? How much leadership do you give them and guidance versus how much are they pushing you around and kind of manipulating you? And so what I mean is this, right? Oftentimes we get a dog in, and as soon as we get them in, we go, oh my God, you're perfect just how you are. We coddle them, we kiss them, we tell them, oh my God, you're so great. And we're snuggling them so much, and we're giving them so much physical attention, they become very confident. Like, oh my God, I'm in this household. Like, whatever I do is great. Oh my God, this is awesome. These people love me just how I am. And without enough boundaries, without me saying, yeah, I love you, but no, don't jump on me. Yeah, I love you, but no, stop making sounds. Without boundaries and the dog really having to earn that affection, the dog kind of doesn't really see us as the leader. They kind of just see us as like another dog or their companion. And so when we later tell them like, hey, you need to stop doing this, they're just kind of like, what do you mean stop? Like, I do what I want, you do what you want. We're basically equals. And so when it comes to like letting the dog on the bed, petting the dog a bunch, talking to the dog, giving them a bunch of love and affection, realize I want to first make sure that the dog trusts me to keep them safe and that there's no anxiety around me at all. And there's also no anxiety of me leaving. Okay, so I established trust. I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to be very predictable. I'm going to be very emotionally stable. I'm going to be extremely consistent. And I'm not going to have my own need for love and affection undermine your need to understand what the heck's going on, especially in these rescue cases like Knucklehead Jones here, okay? So what does that look like, folks? I get the dog in and I primarily bond with them by hand feeding them food, getting them to follow me around for food, getting them to train with me and getting them to play with me. And then like I was talking about earlier, if I am going to pet them, it's very much a part of the training where I'm like, yeah, cool, you did something. Here's a pet. Yeah, okay, great. Now, the other thing is, like, once the dog trusts me, then I can begin to say, hey, you need to respect me. You need to stop when I say stop. You need to respect my boundaries, my personal space. And you need to really try hard to understand that I'm going to respect you and you're going to respect me. That's how it's going to be. After I've established that trust, after I've established respect for one another, yes, then I begin being soft with the dog and petting the dog, and yeah, of course, whatever. Some dogs, for sure, I coddle them, I give them kisses and whisper sweet nothings in their ears, like my Amaniti. But like I was saying a moment ago, if we start with love and we start telling the dog that they're perfect, I can't tell you how many times a dog is driving people insane, but they're giving the dog love and affection as though everything's hunky-dory. And the dog is not, especially a socially intelligent dog like this, he just goes, look, if you're giving me love, everything's fine. Everything's good. You told me last night I'm perfect. When you kissed me and held me like that, you told me I was perfect. So what's the problem? And so sometimes taking a little bit of an emotional break from our dog, maybe do some journaling, maybe talk to a therapist, maybe talk to our partner if we need some sort of help during that process, and really shifting to go, you know what, I'm not going to be coddling the dog as much. I'm not just going to be aimlessly petting the dog as much. I'm not going to be giving this dog messages that they're perfect just the way they are. I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, and I'm going to just focus more on using food, using toys to teach the dog what I want them to do. I'm going to have them be calm in the house with all those things that we talked about earlier. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to be clear that, hey man, like, I am setting boundaries. And if you want love and attention from me, like, you got to respect me. Now, that brings me to a story of a dog that I once knew. The guy was struggling with the dog. It was actually my dog's puppy, and he didn't know what to do. He was considering giving up on the dog. In fact, he was pretty committed. So I went and I stopped by. I said, Bill, the dog used to live at the video shop on Mission Street in Santa Barbara. I said, Bill, what's going on, man? I heard through the grapevine you're going to get rid of Abby. He said, oh man, Eric, Abby's crazy. She's insane. She wants to bite people. She's insane. I leave her alone. She starts going crazy. She started eating DVDs the other day. I was like, oh my God. He said, I got to get rid of her, man. This is crazy. She's going to eat the DVDs, scare customers away. I can't have this. I said, okay, Bill, no problem. It's my dog's puppy. I'll take the dog back. Just let me know when. So I waited to hear from Bill. I didn't hear anything from him. A couple weeks went by, even a month went by. I said, I'm just going to go back and check in with Bill and see how he's doing with Abby. What I noticed when I went back there with Bill and Abby was Bill was in a really good headspace. He was really happy, and I said, what's going on, Bill? He said, well, it's crazy, man. Abby, since I saw you last, it's like she's just made a complete turnaround. I was like, wow, that's weird. What did you do? Did you train her? Did you use food, toys, the correction chain or anything? He said, no, Eric, it's crazy, man. When you told me you were going to get rid of her, I realized that I was really sad that I was going to lose my dog. And so I started distancing myself from her emotionally. I started making it a point to, really be a little bit distant because I didn't want to have my heart so broken later on, when I got rid of my dog. And so I stopped petting her, I stopped talking to her, I stopped touching her. Yeah, I just kind of gave her the cold shoulder for a couple of weeks. And the weird thing, Eric, I noticed is all of a sudden, she started offering different behaviors. She started trying different things to get my attention. And, I noticed that, she actually started being a little bit more careful. And she all of a sudden wasn't so sure that what she was doing was good. And what's crazy, Eric? There's no need for you to come and get her because she's just a completely different dog. I said, wow, Bill, really? Just by not petting her unconsciously all the time and inadvertently telling her she's perfect? He said, yeah. Now keep in mind, folks, that's not all dogs, but for very socially intelligent dogs like the Huskies, dogs that are more of a primitive breed or more like a wolf, they're extremely into social hierarchy. And when we pet the dog and when we give them affection, in a sense with some dogs, we're kind of basically telling them it's all good in the hood, and in some cases even putting ourselves below the dog in the social hierarchy. Realize the assertive dog does not pet the subordinate dog. The alpha dog does not pet the omega dog. They might play with them, but the petting and the grooming, typically it's a dog lesser in the status will groom the dog that is higher up in the status, okay? So when we're trying to, fix these types of behaviors, the separation stuff, I do have to be clear, a lot of this is relationship based. It's from having just a confused relationship to begin with, where, we haven't really created trust and respect first before the love. And when the dog is doing things crazily, it's hard for us to emotionally separate ourselves from the dog and just take a step back and go, hey man, you know, we're just kind of on a break. I mean, think about it like dating, right? We're being affectionate with somebody. It's not going well. We typically stop being affectionate. You know, we remove our affection for a period of time. And sometimes, you know, that works. So remember, as always, folks, we don't blame them. We train them. And if you want a dog like I have, an Emaniti, that's just the easiest dog to take anywhere and the easiest dog to leave alone forever, even though she was very hard to train, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Good God, Bubby. And you'll notice, like, I'm not going to pet him, guys. I don't think I would have the same response from him right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you can, like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And even leave me a comment asking what type of video you want me to make next, and I'll do it. Thanks. Bye.